Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to your Friday Night Rabble here on the Rangers Rabble podcast. The night after a very good European win and 2 days before an extremely important SPFL game. So we'll discuss last night, we'll discuss the current situation with the squad, we'll discuss Sunday, we'll discuss everything. And of course, get your comments in. The best comments get chosen and brought up. So get your comments and your thoughts on the team, your thoughts on last night, your thoughts on Sunday. And yes, I am well aware that I cannot pronounce thoughts properly, so you don't need to tell me that. Joining me tonight is a very, very late substitution, and Alex. Alex, first of all, how are you? Secondly, does your missus hate me yet?
I'm all right, mate. I should just move on for that question there. My balls have been well and truly booted, but hey, we've got to help out when you can, so I'm here to help out, boys, definitely.
And sporting yet another fantastic European top is Lewis. Lewis, how are you?
I'm not bad, mate. Makes a change that coming on here with a smile on our faces. It's very, very, very odd feeling, but let's hope it continues.
Well, you say smile on the faces, Lewis. What's your thoughts on last night? And I'll tell you why I've asked once you've answered.
Well, like most of the support, I'm not going to get too carried away. It's obviously a very, very impressive result. It doesn't really matter the level of opposition or the situation of the game to beat a team in Europe 4-0 and dominate from start to finish. Let's be honest, it doesn't really come along too often. So certainly happy with that. But we've seen this movie before, and I hope it just is not another false dawn. So just take it when it comes to every game. Let's see how things progress. But last night was impressive.
I mean, yeah. We've already lost Lewis. So just as well, Alex, mate, that you jumped in. Yeah, and look, this point for JD, Alex kind of sums last night up for me. Enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy the moment, and then expect more of the same, at least in energy versus St Mirren. I've titled the show Rangers Win, but Nothing Changes, because it's simply that. We won last night, great win, and we'll talk about it. But in terms of moving forward, nothing has changed.
No, that's exactly it. To be fair, nothing has changed. Yes, we can celebrate the fact we won last night with a pretty comfortable scoreline, but in terms of the way that Rangers are playing, nothing is going to change. We need to start getting the results on the board in the league, not just in Europe. So come St Mirren, we need another very good performance from the lads, and if we can do that and kick on to Wednesday, then that's exactly what we need to be seeing.
In terms of the actual performance last night, Lewis, do we have to just take stock and say that it was against a poor team in Europe? Or do we actually give Rangers credit and give the players credit and the manager and say, after everything that's happened, to turn out a performance like that, kudos?
It's difficult because, like I said, in my last point there, this could be a false dawn. It could be the same scenario that we've seen so many times in the past 3 years where, a terrific performance. And these days tend to creep up in Europe. We're very, very, very impressive at this level of European competition. I'd say you'd struggle to find a team that have a better record over the last 5 campaigns that we've been in this Europa League than Rangers. Like, we've got a special connection with it, and especially in a packed Ibrox. And listen, I was watching yourself on the pod, I think it was yesterday, after the match. Nobody expected that attendance. Like, that was a massive, massive surprise to most Rangers fans that was a near enough a full Ibrox. And it's a special thing in the Europa League. And especially, getting things underway quite early and starting to put a foothold on the game. It was impressive, but we need to see consistency. It needs to be a run of games. Like, I still think the jury is out in Kilmarnock and his managerial ability in terms of tactical decisions for me. And yesterday isn't going to change that. I need to see this entire season where he's going to prove himself to be somebody that can carry this team forward, because it's still yet to be seen, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, look, this is what I mean. I'm not having a go at Kelso at all here, Alex. But come on, Martin, this is becoming a witch hunt against our manager. How, Alex, is it becoming a witch hunt against the manager? Because I'm not going to sit on a show one day and say that I'm not happy with the performances, I'm not happy with the way we were playing, watching that game on Sunday, and then because we've played well in one game, sit here and say to you on a Friday night, no, everything's rosy. Look at the way that we played. Lawrence getting on the score sheet, Cerny playing out his skin, Connor Barron phenomenal in the middle of the park, Leon Balogun coming in and looking really, really good. Oh no, everything's fine. So we'll just ignore how the season started.
We definitely can't ignore the season. People are saying it's a witch hunt, but the ultimately the blame has to land on the manager. See, if you're playing bad, he's the one that makes the team selection. It's his tactics, it's his team. See, if it comes down to the fact that we're not playing well, then that has to ultimately land on the manager. Yes, we can celebrate the fact we won last night, but I agree with you, Martin. If we come and play St Mirren and give the same level of performance that we give against Kilmarnock, then the blame has to land with Clermont. 100% it has to. But if we come out and play the same way that we did against FCSB, then we can give him praise and say that maybe this is the chance where he's going to turn this team around and actually get them playing really, really well. We just need to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, we absolutely do. And Lewis, obviously, Alex was on the watch along last night and he was on the reaction, and now he's on the Friday night show. I've actually seen him more than I've seen my own missus. In terms of some individual performance, well, yeah, you've seen more of yourself than what your missus has seen. That's a bit stupid, Alex. Come on.
What are you, mate? What are you?
Yeah. In terms of some individual performances last night, I think it's only right that we pick up on Cerny, Lewis, who for me was obviously man of the match. It's weird because from minute one, I sort of looked at him and went, right, he's up for it tonight. He's up for it. Ball goes out of play and he's shouting at the fans. He looks really, really up for it. I just hope it's not another false dawn for Václav Cerny, and that we see that type of performance, that type of not even doing the things that he done in terms of taking players on and beating them and scoring goals, just the effort.
Mm-hmm. Look, before I make my point, I better be careful what I'm about to say here, because I don't think StreamYard's like me. It's kicked me out after my last 2 points here. So I apologise if it happens again. But, Cerny reminds me of Borna Barisic, and the fact that mentality-wise, they need to start a game well in order for it to continue well. Biggest confidence players I've ever seen. Very, very similar mentalities, both of them. And I think you can tell in the first 5 to 10 minutes if Cerny's going to have a good performance or not. And like you said, last night you could see from minute one that he was going to have a good game. And it's like, again, it might be a false dawn, but it's different with a player because, especially a winger, wingers are the most inconsistent position in football. Like, they don't need to be excellent the full game, because as long as they create that one bit of magic, it's worth it. And Cerny's not exactly your direct pacey winger either, so he needs help. He needs technical stability around him, because he needs to be playing the intricate 1-2s to get into positions, because he's not got that burst of pace or that wee bit of skill to get past somebody like a Ryan Kent, for example, or a Fashion Sakala with the pace on the other hand. So as long as he gets his confidence right, and as long as he's got a decent bit of attacking support, I think Cerny's a really, really good player. And you seen the best of him last night. I mean, for a winger to go and score 2 very, very good goals, by the way, they were 2 fantastic finishes, especially the first one. I mean, that was a really, really good finish. But then you look at him against Leon, and it's harder to hit that chance of the bar than it was to score it. So just take everything with a pinch of salt. It was a really, really good performance. Just let's hope it continues.
One thing I will say, Lewis, is that your audio is horrendous. It sounds as though somebody's trying to drown a squirrel in a well. So I don't know if it's your earphones that you're using along with your phone or whatever, but your audio is not great.
Try to get the old school synthesizer on the go.
It sounded like a bit of Daft Punk, didn't it? There was a bit of Daft Punk in there for Lewis. But yeah. I mean,
sound any better?
That does sound better.
Right, okay.
Let's just hope it, because it's like, this is what it was like. You were talking and you were making a point, and then it was going, douche, douche. I don't know what it is. I'm all about the dancing these days. Connor, welcome.
All right, how we doing?
Yes, not bad, not bad. I will let all the viewers and listeners in on a wee secret. Connor was supposed to be on tonight, but because he helped me out in the Q&A, I says, you take Friday night off, Connor. I says to him, take the Friday night off. Because Lewis and Bryan, me, Lewis and Bryan, we can get this done, no problem. Brian's at his work, forgot he was on and never told me. So that's why I've had to get the assistance of Connor back. Connor, how are you?
Not too bad, aye. I've been getting absolute dogs abuse though since that members Q&A. Absolutely shocking behaviour for some of the members. I mean, some of the things it's being compared to, by the way, dear me. But aye, you know, if that doesn't show you that my commitment clearly lies in the rabble, then I don't know what will.
We were just discussing before you came on there, Connor, Cerny. Obviously, we've had plenty to say on this. It's my main point that I was trying to make was it's great that he played really well last night. It's great that he scored a couple of goals and that he looked up for it and he was trying to G the crowd up, Connor. But we've seen this before, and then we have seen 4 or 5 weeks where he just drops off the face of the earth.
Very much so, yep. And I think, to be fair, you know, you're probably going to get that from him. I don't think you'll see the performance like he had last night every week. I just don't. But you know, as long as the effort's there, that's all you can ask for. Is putting in the effort. And there's been once or twice where you've been concerned by that. I mean, you know, I think in the Leon game and in the other games at Ibrox, he's looked a bit spooked by the atmosphere at Ibrox. Last night seemed to be totally the opposite of that. He seemed to be absolutely, you know, loving every second of it and just taking everything in. And his 2 goals were brilliant goals, you've got to say, for different reasons. Ironically, both were harder than the chance he actually missed against Leon. But that's just the way of it, isn't it? So I think it's been a good night from last night, and hopefully we see more of that to come in the future, because we know he's capable of it. We know he's got a good finish in his locker. We've seen it against Motherwell at Hampden. You know, we've seen it last night. We know what he's got in there. We just want to see it more, preferably.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Lewis, in terms of last night, I asked this question last night. Does that win in Europe, does that take any pressure off Clermont? Or is it, well, you're shaking your head, so I don't even need to ask the other side of that question.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Europe is always going to be secondary to any team in Scotland, unfortunately, until such time as our finances improve, where we are able to compete by getting into knockout rounds consistently. Like, saying that, I mean, Rangers have got a very, very good chance. I mean, I would fully expect us to qualify now. To be honest, I think there's definitely enough points to get double digits, but to actually go and consistently compete in the latter stage of these competitions, it's just no there. Certainly no for Rangers right now. So you need to just take Europe separately. Unfortunately, as good a performance as it was, and good a performance as Malmo was, because see if we go to Aberdeen and get beat, are the decisions on Clermont for the majority of the fan base is going to be, well, he needs to go because he's underperforming, and what matters most to Rangers, and that is winning everything to do with domestic. And if we're not doing that, then you know, a 4-0 win against FCSB is not going to quell their expectations. So unfortunately, no, absolutely no different.
Well, I think the heavy beats. Has done it. I think I was ready to play a bit of the background music, Connor, and give it a bit of the jiving. For people who don't know, I'm a very good dancer. That's all I'm saying. In terms of the Europa League, Alex, that's 6 points from 3 games. If we take a quick look at the league table, which I know there's still another 5 games to go. I mean, we're sitting in I can't even find us as that many teams. 11th place. I don't mean to sound negative, but my main focus and priority is not on the Europa League. And I don't know, and I think that's the first time I've ever felt like that. However, in terms of points and games played, I mean, we're doing all right.
We're doing very, very well in Europa League. Obviously, the only time we've lost is to a very good Leon team, but I agree with you. This campaign, I'm not really bothered right now about Europa League. We need to start getting momentum going in the domestic season and actually getting the league up and running, because see if we can continue that form that we've got in Europa League domestically, then we're laughing. But right now we're not. It's so chalk and cheese. Our performances in Europe to our performances in the league. We can have a good game like Malmo and then come domestically and then it's not as good. So I'd rather see those performances in the league and then suffer in Europe. But I suppose we're getting good payout from each game we win in Europe as well.
This might sound petty. I don't consider myself a petty person, Connor. I don't know why you're both laughing, because I don't consider myself a petty person. Stevie for Four Lads tweeted today that obviously the manager grabbed him on the way into the presser and says, "Oh, not too many long balls a day." That annoyed me, right? I don't know if I'm just doing the overreacting thing that supporters do. I get it, right? But when we've had the start of the season that we've had, and we've been as poor as what we have been, and we've just been beat off a Kilmarnock team without really showing anything, and albeit we get the win in Europe and it's an impressive win in Europe, I don't want my manager coming out laughing and joking and saying, "Oh, no long balls a day." I don't want to hear it. And again, maybe I'm just completely going over the top or whatever, and like AJ WTF saying he's trying a bit of banter, I get that. But I don't know. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't bother me too much. I mean, I get what you're saying in terms of, and it goes back to what you were asking Lewis as well about the pressure that's on him. And that is very much, the pressure is still very much on him. I mean, listen, I haven't changed. Just because of last night, I haven't changed my opinion that if he loses at Pittodrie on Wednesday, he's, I think he's up for the sack, personally. That's how big that game is for him, because whatever you do in Europe domestically is your bread and butter, and you can't be sitting 9 points behind Aberdeen at the start of November. It's just unacceptable. And so I think for me, if he was to lose that game, and then I do think he would have to go, but maybe just taking a bit of the edge off by having a bit of banter and trying to relax things a bit. You've had a good night at the office, and trying to enjoy it just for what it is in that moment. I don't mind too much, but certainly the situation is still a very serious one for him.
Yeah, and look, yeah, okay, I'm willing to put my hands up and say I'm completely overreacting. And as Nicholas is saying, imagine being the Rangers manager and everyone picks over every single word that comes out your mouth. Give the guy a break. I get it. I 100% get it. And the manager said it, and it's not the manager that's put it on social media, right? I understand that. I'm just saying, Alex, that when I hear stuff like that, I just think back to the conversations that we were having on Sunday and the conversations that we could again be having on Sunday or Wednesday. And listen, I pray, I'm not really religious, but I pray that we don't lose another game this season and we go on and we win both cups and we win a league and we win the Europa League. And then the manager can turn around and drag me into a room if he wants and go, "By the way, get it right up you." I'll be more than happy, right? But it's just the way I feel.
You're entitled to feel that way, to be fair, because obviously we've come off the back of a bad defeat to Kilmarnock. He did say in his press conference that it was either one of the either. It wasn't long balls or sideways passing. It was one of the either. Then he's obviously made the joke that it wasn't long balls. But to be fair, there was a lot of long balls those first 10 minutes until we started getting a bit of control of the game. And then you can see the boys actually try to keep it on the deck. But listen, he's going to make comments and try and get himself, the fans back on side, isn't he? He needs to try and do something. If it's not the performances, he needs to be trying to get us back on side, because a lot of the times the fans actually can't be bothered listening to him. And that's going to be an issue for Clermont, is that he's lost the fans with what he's saying. So maybe he's just trying to have a bit of a joke and a laugh to get them back on side.
And again, I get that. That's a beautiful man in that picture, Gavin. That's all I'm going to say.
Can I just point out, by the way, that's twice you brought up a comment about your hair in 2 days. Somebody made a comment yesterday, you brought it up, and you did it again today. I think it was Linda, we both as well.
No, but Linda's a massive contributor to the show, so I'm always going to bring up Linda's comments. Connor, sorry, were you going to jump in there?
I was just going to jump in and say, I think Alex is absolutely right. That's what he's trying to do. He's just trying to relieve a bit of tension in there. I mean, there's a few people, after my last comment saying that he's not going to get sacked, whatever happens against Aberdeen, and that sacking him would be going to say, they might well be correct. I just personally think that you lose that game, I don't see how you can justify it, going forward. How long do you sustain that for? Because then you don't just need Aberdeen to lose a game. You then need to win all your games and hope they lose a couple of games along the way, which I'm sure they will do at some point. But the idea that you're then in a race for second place and that a manager would remain in position, as I say, I think you might well be right. I agree in terms of the principally, will the board sack him? No, because we don't really have a board to sack him. So that is probably correct. I'm just saying that would be my feeling on it. I would feel like I would want him to be gone. But that's, as Alex said, though, to that point, he's right. It's just trying to cut a bit of tension. And I think he's earned that. It's been a tough time for him. Let him enjoy the result last night for what it was, and hope that he moves into the game on Sunday. And we get it right there as well against St Mirren. Because again, the way St Mirren are playing, we should be getting 2 or 3 past them as well.
And I just think, I agree with Derek. The manager has shown that he wants to be here more than others. I'm 100% on that. Connor, I just think that regardless of last night, just me personally, I still think I'm frustrated and annoyed at the start of the season. And when you're frustrated and annoyed, like any other human being, when you get annoyed, the small things annoy you. Sorry for saying annoyed so much, but the small things get to you, and the things that you would laugh off as a joke or ignore and just let it go over your head get to you. And I still don't think I'm quite over. And people can tell me to shut up, I'm talking nonsense, and I would probably agree with them. I still don't think I'm quite over that performance last Sunday against Kilmarnock, and that's probably why these things are still bugging me.
Of course it is. Listen, the thing is, in isolation, right? If you took that game in isolation and didn't look at what the actual circumstances coming into that game were and everything surrounding it, you wouldn't necessarily, still be feeling so raw and angry about it. 4 or 5 days down the line, nearly a week later, if it hadn't been for the fact that the circumstances where we had an opportunity to close the gap on both Aberdeen and Celtic to 3 points, and we blew it. We blew it again, and that's what it's been a trademark of ours over the last couple of years. We've had ourselves, found ourselves in these positions where we can call back points and we don't take advantage of it. And I think that's where that annoyance comes from, because I think had that been like game day 1 of the season or whatever, and you have a bad day at the office, then yeah, you'd be annoyed about it that day, maybe the day after, and you'd move on. You would, because as much as we all have sky high expectations, and rightly so, for the team being Rangers fans, we also all expect, or accept rather, that you won't actually win every game of football you play. That you probably will lose a game somewhere in a season, but it's about the manner of that, and it was the fact that we had that opportunity. None of the players turned up. None of them looked hungry enough to take that chance, and we lost it. And that's where the wins come from. But the thing is, and this is the positive part of it, if we build on what we did last night and carry that momentum forward, and then you beat St Mirren on Sunday and you beat Aberdeen on Wednesday, then that result will very quickly be forgotten about if we make up for it. That's what the players now have to do, is to make up for what happened last week.
Will it though? Will that be forgotten though? Because then that was an opportunity to close the gap. If we beat Kelly and then we beat Aberdeen, we're on level points at that point. So I don't think it's forgotten, because it's an opportunity to close that gap at that point, Connor. That if we beat Kelly and then we beat St Mirren and Aberdeen, then we're level on points with Aberdeen rather than still be 3 behind. So I don't think it is going to be as forgotten as you're making it out. I reckon that we'd have been a lot closer, and then we've got an opportunity to start going for Celtic at the top rather than worrying about being close to Aberdeen.
Can I just say, and Andy's put the point in, it's not a joke or a laugh. That's taking the piss out of fan media who ask the hard questions about his tactics or lack thereof. I don't think it is. I think that's probably Clement building relationships with the likes of Stevie and David that do the fan media. He's probably been made aware that, look, these are Rangers fans. This isn't a newspaper or your traditional mainstream media. And he's probably tried to have a laugh and a joke with him. On any other day, I would have had a laugh and a joke back. The only point that I'm making is that I didn't actually realise that I was still really, really pissed off about last Sunday. And yeah, I enjoyed last night, and I enjoyed watching us playing, let's be honest, free-flowing football. I mean, the third goal, I think it was, great team goal, great build-up play, great finish by Cerny. I loved seeing all that. And then you do the reaction and you're happy on the reaction because it's straight after the game. But then when you sit and you think and then you see stuff like that, I think it just reminded me, Alex, that I was still a bit pissed off about the whole Rangers situation right now. That's all I'm trying to say.
I think everybody is just now. You have to celebrate the win. I'm going to keep banging that drum. We will celebrate the win and the fact that we got a good result last night. The team looked like they were starting to get somewhere. But you're still going to be upset with the fact that we lost to Kilmarnock on Sunday. We're not going to get away from that fact, but it's now we need to learn from that defeat, learn from the fact they've won. What did we do well last night, and take that into the St Mirren game? We need to start getting the crowd behind us, because the attendance was quite low. We thought it was a lot more than we actually thought, but it was still low. People aren't happy with the manager, they're not happy with the team, not happy with the players, and we need to start getting that back to the way it is, getting full houses, getting sellouts, and showing that this is a Rangers team we can all get behind. Because right now, a lot of fans aren't behind them, and we need to just move on.
Yeah, but that's what I was meaning as well with the point I made, that they can only do that by winning games of football in the park. And at the end of the day, I don't think anybody would deny the fact that if they're able to go up to Pittodrie on Wednesday and beat, what is right now a vibrant Aberdeen side who are absolutely playing out their skins, that would be a massive step in the right direction doing that, because it's such a huge game, and I don't think a lot of people are expecting us to win it. So doing that would be a great step in the right direction. And then, listen, you've got to keep winning your games, because ultimately, the big test comes up. Is it the 2nd of January? I think it is. When they rock up to Ibrox and we play them. And for me, the only way that you can get the fans back on side and keep them on side is you win every game and domestically, that is not necessarily in Europe, but domestically, you win every game between now and January the 2nd, and then you go on and you win that game as well. Then you can absolutely be assured that the Kilmarnock result will be completely out of the mind, because people will be delighted at the response that they've seen. Whether we'll get that or not is an entirely different question, but it's down to those players to do it and to show their mettle and to show that they aren't just going to, wilt away and not put up any kind of a fight. Again, it doesn't matter whether you think we'll win the league this season or not. It's not about that. It's about these players putting up an actual fight and laying down markers here and there to Celtic, to Aberdeen, to anybody else, that we're not just going to roll over and fall away this season and be walked over, that we will actually try and do something. And that's all they can do. That's the mentality of playing for Rangers should always be about. That if we're going to lose games, if we're not going to win a league title, then we'll go down swinging and we'll go down with a fight. That's the way it should always be.
And by the way, Gallup makes a great point. It was definitely in the 40,000s last night. I Alex, which completely surprised me, and what you have to say is, after all the I can't think of the word. Is it apathy? I think that was in a word of the day somewhere that I seen on a calendar at one point in my life that was surrounding the team, and we were all worried about the amount of people that were going to show up. You had the likes of David Tanner putting random stuff on social media about folks selling tickets outside Ibrox as if it's never happened before in its life. Honestly, mental. But Alex, I think the fans have to take a lot of credit for going along to, for the amount of fans that went along to that game last night.
They definitely deserve a lot of credit for going to the game last night, because after the performance of Kilmarnock, and a lot of the fans at the stadium were booing the team, so for 40,000 to turn up, there's still quite a lot of people. I just think that, when you look at a Rangers team in the past, you want to see a sellout, but you were never going to see that last night. But to say that, it never happens, people selling tickets. Me and you, Connor, were walking at the Dundee game, there's people selling tickets there. It happens at every game. People stand outside the subway with tickets in their hands above their head selling them. So to say that it's never happened before is a bit of a weird one, because it happens at every game, regardless of who the opponents are. Probably the Old Firm is the only game that doesn't happen it, but every game it happens, regardless. There's always somebody with a ticket above their head trying to get it sold.
Yeah. Question for Jock Blue. I want to answer this because I've got a comment I want to come to as well. Right now, as we sit, how many of you three think we will beat Aberdeen? Connor.
Hey, I don't know. Is the honest? I really don't know if I think we can beat them. Listen, can we beat them? Yes, of course we can. If we can turn up and perform, at our best, we've got the quality in our team to more than match Aberdeen and to beat them. It's again though, we have to be at our best to do it, because Aberdeen are flying right now, and you can bet your bottom dollar, if you thought they performed well in the second half against Celtic, you know that we're going to have such a tough game, particularly going up to Pittodrie. I would be a lot happier if the game has been played at Ibrox, if I'm being honest with you, although they did beat us there round about this time last season. But yeah, if I'm honest, I think it will be a draw.
Alex?
I'm no so sure that right now we're in the best of forms to go and beat Aberdeen. I think the way they're playing just now, they're absolutely flying. And let's not kid ourselves, Aberdeen are one of the teams that 100% of the time turn up against Rangers. They just want to prove a point that they can beat us. And I think the way that Jimmy Tillene's got them playing just now, come Wednesday night, I think they will run through us. We'll be lucky to get out of there with a draw. So I reckon that we will get a draw. You've got to say with your heart, I say we're going to win, but with my head, I think we'll get a draw at that game. Maybe a one each.
We'll beat Aberdeen. There you go.
At least one said it.
We'll beat Aberdeen.
The other thing about it is as well, Martin, we're in a tricky situation in terms of, see, whatever their result is at the weekend ain't going to help us either get into that game in terms of how they'll perform, because if somehow Dundee United managed to go up there and win tomorrow night, which is on the telly, and I think I'll probably watch it, then that will make them a wounded animal, and they'll want to respond straight away by beating us on Wednesday, because that's what happens. Equally though, if they win, then they'll be protecting their unbeaten record as well, going into the game. So either way, you're going to be getting an Aberdeen side who are going to be very much up for this, and it's about us being up for it, because the away performances, you've got to say the away performances this season have not been great. Even the early home games at Hampden weren't the best performances, although we got the results. So yeah, it will be a massive test, although we do have to get past St Mirren first. It has to be said.
No, but that wasn't the question. The question was, what do you think about Aberdeen? And we'll beat them. We'll beat them. End of story. There you go. Right. From Scotland, the Brave Martin, please explain to the comment section that the Europa League is not the Champions League. I'm pretty sure most people are aware. But for those who aren't, the Europa League is a different competition to the Champions League. If Rangers were getting points at that level, people would be impressed. It's expected in Europa. Disagree.
Is it
100% disagree.
Completely
Are
disagree.
Rangers expected to beat Lyon then? Are we expected to beat Tottenham? Are we expected to beat Manchester United? This nonsense, this perpetuated myth that the Europa League is just full of crap teams that you should be able to beat. Crap. Utter garbage is what that is. If you look team for team at our draw in the Europa League and compare it with Celtic's draw in the Champions League, out with Dortmund and Atalanta, they have got a far easier draw, even though it's the Champions League, than we do. I would have taken your hand off for Celtic's draw compared to ours with the quality that we've got to play. You kidding me on? Olympiacos next up, the Conference League winners of last season, perpetual Champions League side, one of the best, if not arguably the best that Greece has got to offer. Then you go away to Nice. After that, again, another side who a burgeoning team have been getting better over the last few years as well, but who have also regularly featured in the Champions League over the last couple of years. And then you come back to Ibrox in December to playing Tottenham. Oh, and that's right, you round it all off by playing Manchester United at Old Trafford. But you don't get any credit if you get results in those games because you're expected to win them. I mean, that's just absolute nonsense, I'm afraid.
I mean, Man U away should probably be quite easy. But I mean, apart from that, I agree with you, Connor. No, I mean, look, the Europa League's difficult. Really, really difficult. And if the Europa League was that easy, then I'm pretty sure Celtic would have made a couple of finals. But oh wait, they haven't. So no, the Europa League is not easy. There is some teams in it that you should beat. FCSB at home or FCSB at home. Yes, 100%. You should be winning that. They are not a great team, but you still have to go and win it, and we did. We absolutely did. Malmo away. Are you telling me that you should be going to Malmo away and winning? I don't know if that's 100% on that you go away to a team like Malmo and win, but we did. We get humbled by a Lyon team who are just better than us. There's no argument there. We got beat by the better team. But to try and say that we're expected to win every single game in the Europa League, do you know why some people might expect us to win, Alex, in the Europa League? Because we've done really well in it, and we've got to a final, and we've made Scotland relevant again in Europe. That's probably why people expect us to win in the Europa League.
That's exactly it. It's because we've done so well in previous competitions, but the difference is this time you're not playing the same teams twice. It's mixed it up every game. You're playing a different team every time. So the way that you're going to be home and away is completely different. You can't expect the same opponent and know what you're facing. Look at the way Tottenham had to play last night. They won 1-0. They're expected to win every game, and they're sometimes scraping wins. Yet Rangers are getting results, and then we're not allowed to celebrate it because we're expected to get that win. Come on, surely we've got to be picking up points, and when we are, that's good. If we got beat last night, we would have been the laughingstock of Europe as the only team that didn't get any points in the European games. Yet we did. We went out and we won 4-0 with ease.
Yeah, 100%. So I just thought I would reply to that comment because I was asked to.
Martin, here's the question for you, right? We won 4-0 last night, having an FCSB, right? Celtic were dancing around. Paddy Power were paying out, and Celtic were in the Champions League because they bet Slovan Bratislava 5-1. Again, quite entitled to celebrate that result. But are you going to tell me that Slovan Bratislava and FCSB are miles apart in terms of quality? They are almost in the same level. It just happens to be that Slovan managed to make it into the Champions League. And all credit to them for doing that. But I can assure you that they will be one of the teams who finish rock bottom of the Champions League. They won't win any games. And it's not me having a go at, Slovan Bratislava. It's just a fact. The team we played last night, you could measure fairly equally to the level of Slovan Bratislava. Just because it's in a different competition doesn't make it any less or more of an achievement.
Yeah. And by the way, before I get all the hate in the comments from people who don't support Rangers, Celtic got a phenomenal result in Europe as well, away to Atalanta. That's a great result, and it's good for Scottish football. As much as I would have preferred them to get beat, but it's great for Scottish football. So, but yeah, don't come away with stupid comments like that. I know you're trying to wind us up, and you succeeded. You succeeded in winding us up. To be fair, well done, Scotland the Brave. You done what you set out to do. But if you're going to have a go, at least just don't talk nonsense. What's your biggest Connor takeaway from last night? What do you take away most from
it? I think my biggest takeaway is just that is probably the performance of Cerny and Agamani in terms of, just confidence building for the team more than anything else. That's all it is for me last night. It's a good win to get, builds a bit of confidence, couple of goals for Cerny. Agamani get himself in the score sheet, which is important because when you have your main striker in Dessers, who at the moment is maybe not, bang at it, then you need your other strikers to step up. And we know Danilo's on the road back, having featured in the B team this week, and Agamani getting a goal, just good for confidence, because can you imagine if we had got a bad result last night off the back of Kilmarnock? It would have, it'd have been an absolute hammering for the team, and how you pick yourself up for that. So I do think certainly that it is just all about the confidence building, and I think, if I'm honest, I do expect on Sunday that we'll go out there and we'll take care of business against St Mirren. I also expect that we might well see Agamani starting that game instead of Dessers. Just a sneaking suspicion, the way things went for him, the way he came off the park, and he's not looking at it. So that'll be interesting. Take the other thing I took for last night, actually. Barron and Raskin seem to be a potential for a good partnership as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We done Barron and Raskin last night, Alex. I don't really want to go too much more into that. I hate repeating myself, but just quickly on Barron and Raskin, do they complement themselves more than, say, a Barron? But I can't even speak. Barron and Dio, or can we not say that after one game?
See, to be fair, last night we said it during the watch along corner that Barron and Raskin, you're getting into my heat now.
It's almost impossible. Almost impossible.
Barron and Raskin looked like the partnership last night. I think they complemented each other. They were sticking together. They knew each other's jobs. They knew how to play with each other. You pointed out, though, Martin, the only thing they have to get better at is their passing game, because some of the pass they're playing was poor. But I think when Diomande came on, he didn't almost know where to play. He was playing the 10, he's dropping back. He didn't know where to play last night. And I think that was a bit of an issue, being chucked into that number 10 role for Dio. He looks like he wants to play there, but then he was given that opportunity and he kind of didn't know what to do in that role. He had a few pot shots, but didn't actually look like he was fully comfortable in that role.
Right. I realised that I run a podcast, right? A Rangers podcast. But I have not even checked to see if Rangers done a press conference today. I don't think we did. Did we?
I don't think we did. Did we?
No,
I know that there's some comments
no,
from the manager, but I don't think we did a press conference, no.
No.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm extremely professional in everything that I do. But yeah, the reason that I bring that up, Connor, is, are we worried after last night about a certain Tom Lawrence? And the reason that I ask, are we worried about a certain Tom Lawrence, is because he's scored some quite big goals for us lately. He's been the one that when we've asked who's going to score the goals, he's come up with them.
He has done. Hopefully he'll be fine. It did feel precautionary more than anything else. I haven't heard the manager say, some people suggesting he could be out for a while, maybe he will be, I don't know. I haven't heard the manager say that, so I don't know. I mean, he has been the man for a goal here and there. He's been playing fairly well, so it would be a blow, but equally, I think Dio done a decent job when he came on last night. If you can get him playing well, then ideal. Raskin, again, looked well as well. So it does seem that there's options there if he is going to be out, but you don't want him having a long spell on the sidelines. Of course you don't.
No, you really don't. The Trying Scotsman has gifted one Rangers Rabble membership. Thank you very, very much. We had our members Q&A. Q&A. I don't know what's going on with me tonight. I talk for a living and I can't talk. We had our members Q&A tonight at 6 o'clock. Bit of a laugh corner. Bit of back and forth with the members. Quite enjoyable. Although you were getting some abuse, man.
I was getting an absolute tanking. But very much enjoyable, yes. I particularly, and I think the members agree, I particularly enjoyed your cameo dancing appearance right at the end of the end credits. You know, we're becoming like the MCU. You've got to wait. You've got to stay now. Stay behind.
I don't know why I've never been picked up for like a talent show or something like that.
You know, there'll be more end credit scenes to come, so you need to stick around for them.
No, there won't. I'm putting my foot down. Maybe no more end credit scenes. Jim Sloan, who as all members know, joined the members Discord today. Welcome along to the Discord. Jim supports the channel every single show. Thank you very much. We will win this league. No surrender. Follow. I'm not quite on the same happy juice, Alex, that Jim's on, and I severely hope that I'm wrong.
No, I mean, I know it's Friday night and that, but I'm definitely not on that happy juice quite yet. If we can start getting some results, maybe the happy juice will appear. But right now, let's just concentrate on getting some wins down the road and get that first before we get the happy juice out, Jim. Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks I really appreciate the super chat, Jim. And by the way, see if you're right, then you're coming on the show that happens the day that we win the league, just to laugh at us all. Absolutely laugh at us all. The Rabble's got talent. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. The Rabble members have got talent. Absolutely. But the Rabble certainly does not have talent. And yeah. Martin, you're realistic though. Yeah. You stated before the game that if you win the next 3, it means absolutely nothing because you can't beat Celtic. If we don't beat Celtic, everything means nothing. That's just true. I don't like it. It's a fact, and I don't like it.
There's an idea for one of your afternoon Rabble questions of the day. What's your MCU character?
I don't know what MCU means.
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, right. Sorry. I've got children. That was the nicest way I could have said that without saying what I was going to say. Yeah, I don't know who's in Marvel.
Well, you get Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, Hawkeye.
Hawkeye was something they used at tennis.
No, Hawkeye's the name of a hero. You see, shoots the arrows. You strike me as more of a sort of Bruce Banner, the Hulk kind of thing.
No, I think I would be happy with Robin.
Robin, yeah, that's DC, but yeah.
All right, is that not even Marvel? Well, there you go. Right. So, what's the difference? What's the difference between Marvel and DC?
They're two different companies.
No,
there you go.
But they do the same kind of films.
Aye, pretty much.
So it's like UEFA and FIFA.
Yeah, but they did well. Yeah, it's also like UEFA and FIFA in that one does them significantly better than the others do. The MCU has wiped the floor with DC for years.
What one does Stan Lee own?
Marvel.
Right. Okay. Well, I prefer that then. Prefer Marvel. Yeah, I'll go Robin. There we go. That's where I'll go. What's your Friday night film, Connor?
Well, it might be Speak No Evil. That's a good suggestion, Sniper. Always open to suggestions.
Yeah.
I haven't quite decided yet. I was about to decide that, and then I come on here, so that's been put off for another.
This might be a joke. I don't know. But Blue Shadows saying Martin is more like Elmer Rudd.
I don't know if he means that. Yeah, aye.
Who's Elmer Rudd?
I don't. I fear that might be Cockney rhyming slang.
So I'm a fud. Right, okay, fair enough. No, listen, I'm quite happy to admit that. Yeah, and John, I never had any street cred, like ever. So I'm not worried about losing something that I never had. Yeah. Right.
People get off my back for this chair. This is a very, very comfortable chair. All right, just because it's a cream colour, so what? It goes with the decor in my house. It's great.
And listen, his great granddad.
But just for the ones that I don't actually live in this chair. I do move from the chair. I have a kitchen there that I will occasionally pop into to cook my dinner. I do also go out to work because I have a job for a living. So I don't
work
live
from home, Connor.
in the chair.
Everything's on a pulley system. It's all a pulley system. He just gets the ropes on the go, so he doesn't move.
It's very much got an imprint of my cheeks on it. It's like Sheldon for the Big Bang Theory. This is my spot. I've said this before. It is the ideal spot because the window's right there. Lovely breeze if it's too hot. The telly's directly in front of me. I've got my coffee table. I've got my computer equipment all set up here as well.
How old are you, Connor? How old are you?
He likes Marvel. He likes Marvel. So he's never seen the inside of a woman's bedroom. If he likes Marvel.
That's plenty, you.
That was the nicest way I could say it. And I think there's a lot of people in the chat who quite like Marvel, so I've just upset a lot of people. My apologies. What one's dead, Will?
I have to point out a point here, right? And I have to cut you ask this because people see, Alex said about how old I am. I don't care what age you are. Everybody has got their place that they like to sit. They've got that comfortable place, whether it's on a couch, whether it's a chair. Of course they do. Everybody's got their preferred seat in the house. Doesn't mean you sit there all the time. You will sit other places. I'll sit other places if I have to. But everybody is somewhere that they feel the most comfortable.
I suppose you need to get up to put the batteries in your Green Lantern. Oh, I got joking. Please tell me that's Marvel or DC.
Yeah, it's DC.
That was a bum. Yeah. I actually forgot the other joke I was going to make. Which I'm happy with the Green Lantern joke. I'm taking it and I'm running with it. I'm not backing down. I'm doubling down on that. Right, Sunday, Connor. Do we expect changes?
Yeah, I think so. I think there'll be one or two. Not massive wholesale changes, but as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if Agamani comes in for the start. I think the fact that he came on, not just his goal, but was just, and I mean, Alex, me and you had done the watch along as well. He was a lot more effective in the game than Dessers was. He was involved. And I think just on that, you think, yeah, maybe you pull Dessers out of the fire a little bit and rest him and bring Agamani into the start. Will depend on what happens with Tom Lawrence, of course, as we touched on, whether he's fit or not. If he's not fit, then I think you'll just see Diamande coming in and it'll probably be Raskin and Barron again in there as well. I would like to see Casemiro getting a start, but I don't think he will, unfortunately. And, of course, Robin Proper will be back in because Big Balogun, I suspect, probably isn't going to be fit for Sunday. So, it'll be somewhere along those lines, I imagine, the changes.
Yeah. Alex, if you want to take up that question, I'm just doing something at the moment.
What question is that?
Sorry, I'm back. Yeah. A lot of people are talking about Dessers, Alex, and how he walked off the pitch in a huff. I think the manager's addressed the fact that he didn't walk off the pitch in a huff, that he had an injury to his eye and he was just really upset about it. So with that said, because I don't want to go back over that, with that said, are you along the same lines as Connor? Is it a case of because Agamani came on and scored that goal that he does start? And then secondly, because we're running out of time, what's the chances, right, of this? Agaman up front, Zach Lovelace on the left, by Rami in the 10, McCausland on the right, Barron and Raskin.
I do think when you go back to the point about Dessers, the manager has come out and said that he had an injury to the eye and that's why he went off. Yes, I think he was a bit upset. Who's with these names, by the way? I just think that when the manager's come out, he said it was a bit emotional, and that's why he went off. That's why he went off before the sub was made. He had an issue with his eye. I don't think we will see McCausland start. I can see the other players starting, but I think Cerny will start after the fact he got 2 goals. But I do agree with Connor. I think Igamani has to start. He's come on, he got his first goal for the club, and it's in Europe as well. I think he deserves the chance to start more than anything. He needs to get that opportunity. And maybe this would be a good thing for Dessers to take a back seat on the bench because he has gone 6 games without a goal. It might be good to see Igamani get the chance and have that competition for Dessers. Because I said it last night, Dessers had a lot of pressure on his shoulders. So if he's got that competition of somebody challenging for his space, then it might give him a kick up the arse to actually go and play and try and get a goal back in and try and win the manager back to get back in this team.
In terms of that centre-back position, Connor, we looked a lot more stable for me with Leon Balogun in there beside John Souttar. Obviously, with Balogun having to come off of that slight niggle and Proper having to come on, Proper didn't exactly inspire massive amounts of confidence when he came on the park. But would you even be attempting to risk Balogun on Sunday, the fact that he's went off with that injury?
It depends how he's feeling, really. I think, listen, if Leon Balogun's 70-80% fit, you maybe risk him because you could play him for an hour and bring Proper on. I don't imagine that is what will happen. No, I think Proper will start. And listen, Proper's a decent enough player. He didn't do himself favours when he came on, but listen, I don't, famous last words here, right, but you would imagine at home to St Mirren, he shouldn't have an awful lot to do, and so it should be fine. I think Craig in the comments is spot on in terms of you probably would rather keep Balogun for Pittodrie rather than risk him. And I think you throw Proper in, give Balogun the rest, and if he's okay come Pittodrie, then whack him back in the squad as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, the St Mirren team, Alex, that we're playing on Sunday. I mean, what is it? 8 points from 9 games. They get absolutely spanked in their last game, like embarrassingly spanked. So I know we said this about Kilmarnock, but that was away. This is at home. Not that it should make that much difference, but it does. This really should be, it shouldn't matter what team we pick on Sunday. We should be strolling that game.
No, we definitely should be strolling that game. They got absolutely embarrassed by Hearts, who were coasting at the bottom of the table, and they've seemed to get a bit of form, but we're at home. Surely we're just going to go out and absolutely take the game to St Mirren and walk away with a similar scoreline that we got last night. But even if we can get a good couple of goals and we come away from that game injury-free, then we've got to take that as well. You know, we don't want any players being a doubt or a worry for Wednesday night. So let's just get the 3 points, get a good result, play the same way we did last night with some of the boys actually showing up and get up the road.
And get up. Well, we're already home, but yeah, I get what you mean. Right, okay, folks, that'll do us for your Friday Night Rabble. Thank you very much for tuning in. There is a brand new Rabble merchandise store opened, and massive thank you to channel member Donald Mackay for making that happen. Link for which is in the description. You can get things that I'd never even heard of, like tote bags. Yeah, exactly. You're looking at me going, what's a tote bag? I don't know, but we sell them. So yeah, go and check that out. You can get key rings, t-shirts, bobble hats. I don't want to say it's definitely going to happen, but I believe that there could be rubber ducks coming. Yes, believe it or not, there could be. You can, of course, get your Rabble travel mug now if you want it. In order to get that, though, you have to email rangersrabble@gmail.com and just ask for a travel mug. That's not on the website yet. But the link for the shop's in the description. Of course, if you want to help us out and join as a member and get access to the Discord group that is just about slagging me 24/7, then you can become a member now, either on Patreon or the YouTube memberships. The links for both are in the description. And a final super chat by Jim Sloan, channel legend. Get yourself on some happy just lads. It's Friday and we won in Europe. cheer up. Happy hour is over. Well, it is over because the Rabble's over. So that's happy hour done. So a massive thank you to all the super chats, for everybody who's tuned in. Massive thank you to Corin and Alex, who both weren't meant to be on, it has to be said. So thank you to both of them for coming on and saving the show. And to all our members and everybody that tunes in, thank you so much. We are back tomorrow for members with your random rabble. We then have a watch along on Sunday, and then we're back for reaction as well. So thank you very much, folks. And we'll speak to you all very, very soon.